בעזרת השם, שבוע טוב ומבורך. Good week to everyone. We are a few days we're a few days before Rosh Hashanah. So today's topic is going to be Rosh Hashanah. We're going to speak about the secrets of Rosh Hashanah, the deep meaning of Rosh Hashanah, and Be'ezrat Hashem, some sgulot, some secrets that we each... Dina? If you can tell them that we have the lecture right now. Yeah. So we're going to speak a little bit about the secrets of Rosh Hashanah and how can we have a better year from last year. What's the effect of Rosh Hashanah on our family? How can we affect our parnasa on Rosh Hashanah? It's the day of judgment, as we all know. What's that mean? Who is judged? And how can the judgment be sweeter? Let's call it like this. Because judgment, it's a very, it's a word that it's a little bit scary. They judge me, I don't like being judged, right? But we have to understand the concept of what Rosh Hashanah means. Why do we have this day, Bichlal? If we look at the New Year's of the non-Jews, the January 1st, and our Rosh Hashanah, our celebration, which is the first day of Tishrei, we see a big difference. How we celebrate, what we do, and what they do. For them, it's just a celebration. It's a day that you go out and you drink and make a lechaim, and we have a new year. But for us, has a lot of rules. We blow shofar, we dress in a certain way, we eat certain things. Today I'm going to, bli neder, get into those details a little bit of what we eat on Rosh Hashanah. And why do we eat certain things, dates and the pumpkin and all those stuff, that the leek that we take on Rosh Hashanah, and we make a certain blessing on that. Why do we take those fruits and vegetables, the pomegranate, the apple with the honey? Why everything has to be with honey? We have a lot of rules to New Year's. Someone once told me a joke. If the if the Christmas was Jewish, so it was not easy to celebrate Christmas. You would have rules, what kind of a tree you can bring to your house, and how you're gonna put the decorations from the right side and from the left side, and because in Judaism everything is complicated, But it's complicated because there is a reason. There is a deep reason. And today, in our Zohar class, I want to open a little bit of the secrets of Rosh Hashanah. Of course, I'm not going to be able to speak about everything. There's so much to learn. But something we're going to touch, Be'ezrat Hashem, and we're going to see how beautiful is Rosh Hashanah. And I'm telling you right now, this is the most important holiday. There's nothing more important than Rosh Hashanah, even not Pesach. And the reason is because Rosh Hashanah affects Pesach, affects Shavuot, affects the whole year. Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, that's the translation of that word. Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. And everything goes by the head. If the head is okay, your body is okay. Today I met a lady that she got a stroke. And after that, she couldn't move. And Baruch Hashem, with a lot of prayers, the doctor said she's gonna die. And with a lot of prayers, she, Baruch Hashem, healed half. So half of her body is moving, is normal, and half of the body is meshutak. Meshutak means numb, paralyzed. And she came to me and she asked me to help her to do some prayers and things with the other side. So I said to myself, like Rosh Hashanah, you see how her body is okay. It's just the head, the brain. Something in the brain got damaged. And this has caused half of the body to not work. And so we can see how important is the head. If the head is good, so the whole body, the whole life is good. That's why today, Baruch Hashem, we have this opportunity. I think we are 3 or 4 days before Rosh Hashanah to learn of the importance of Rosh Hashanah and to see how we can use those 2 days of Rosh Hashanah for a better life, B'ezrat Hashem. So, first of all, I'll start with the concept of Rosh, with the head. Beginning. Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year means, we know in Chassidut, Rabbi Nachman from Breslov, he teaches us that the beginning is everything. Everything goes by the beginning. I remember we spoke about that a few times. I touched this point, that everything goes by the beginning. If you remember, we spoke about Havdalah. Havdalah, we have this very interesting custom that we do on Motzei Shabbat, that we all sit together, we have a cup of wine, and we make certain blessings on the cup of wine, and then we bless. We bless besamim, we smell an aroma, and then we make a bracha. We spoke about nails, if you remember, right? So the Borei Meorei Ha'esh. But then I once told you that we have another custom that we laugh. Nachon? We laugh in the time of Havdalah. You see people that they are laughing. What's the reason they're laughing? Is because they know the secret of the beginning. Havdalah is the beginning of the week. And everything goes by the beginning. So if I want to have a good week, a successful week, a happy week, I need to start the week with happiness. I need to start the week with laughing. When we laugh in the beginning, we're gonna laugh till the end. We're gonna be happy till the end. That's the reason why we do that. B'ezrat Hashem. So this is Havdalah. We see the same concept of Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is the beginning of the month. Beginning of the month, by the way, it's a ladies' holiday, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu gave the ladies a special holiday called Rosh Chodesh. And this holiday she can decide whatever she wants. I mean, she can say, I'm not doing nothing, I'm just celebrating, yeah? And it's okay. Why? Because this is your day. Now, why is this a holiday? One of the reasons it's a holiday, it's because it's the beginning. Beginning, it has to be a holiday. If the beginning is not a holiday, is not a happy day, when I say holiday, it means a happy day, a time of celebration. If it's not a time of celebration, it's going to cause, chas v'shalom, bad things after. Because if at that day we're not celebrating, we're not happy, the whole month can be a lot less successful, less productive, because the beginning was not productive. That's why we have a Rosh Chodesh. The laws of Rosh Chodesh say that we have to eat something special on Rosh Chodesh. If you cook, let's say, every day a certain type of a meal, don't cook it on Rosh Chodesh. On Rosh Chodesh you have to have something more special. For example, if you eat chicken the whole week, so on Rosh Chodesh you will eat meat. Yeah? A lamb or beef. Rosh Chodesh we have to wear clothes that are more clothes of celebration, right? Something more fancy to show that we're happy on Rosh Chodesh. All those rules coming from the same idea. If I'm going to feel very happy and high on Rosh Chodesh, the whole month is going to be a lot better. If this is what's happening when we start the week positive, the week is going to be positive. When we start the month positive, the month is going to be positive. So imagine how important it is to start the year in a positive mood. That's why we have the custom of honey. Why do we have honey on Rosh Hashanah? What's the point of honey? The honey is because this is the sweetest thing we know, right? I know that honey, sometimes when you wanna eat honey, let's say, even before you eat it, you just look at it, or you know you're gonna eat it, you already have the sweet taste inside your mouth. Our mind, remember, how sweet is the honey. Even before we eat it, we feel it already. Honey is the sweetest thing we know. The year should be the sweetest. That's why on Rosh Hashanah we take bread as every holiday, right? We have on Shabbat we take two challahs, and on Yom Tov, on Rosh Hashanah, on Pesach we always eat bread in every holiday. And then we take the bread and we dip it 3 times in salt. By the way, this is a very, very Kabbalistic thing. It's very important to do it. Not just on Shabbat and holidays, we should do it every day. When you eat, you should have salt on your table. Because salt takes away all the negative powers of judgment that are on the table. That's why, according to Kabbalah, salt has to be on the table all the time. It brings a lot of blessing, takes the bad energy from the table, and it's something that is very important. We see that salt also physically, it's something that heals, takes all the negative bacteria, right?
Unless you throw in somebody's eye.
Unless you
throw in somebody's eye.
Chas v'shalom, yeah. So then it takes. So we see that the salt takes all the negative things, physically and spiritually. That's why we need to have it on the table all the time. By the way, if you eat a sandwich and you don't have salt, so what you should do is to take the bread, to break the little bit of bread after you do the blessing, and then you dip it in the bread itself, because today the bread has salt, or in the salad. That's what you do in the case that you don't have salt. You put it 3 times on the salad or something that has salt in it, because the bread and salt in Hebrew, bread called lechem. Lechem is lamed. Lamed is 30. The numerical value of the letter lamed is 30. Chet is 8, so 38. And mem is 40. So it's going to come to 78. Lechem is 78. Melach, which is salt, is also 78. It's actually the same letters. Lamed, mem, chet. If you flip them, it's going to be salt. Bread is salt. It's the same word in Hebrew. That's why we dip it. Now, why we dip it 3 times? Because every time we dip it, we're using one name of Hashem. The name of Hashem is Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. 4 letters. These 4 letters, the whole world was created with them. So Yud is 10. Hey is 5, is 15. Vav is 6. And Hey is another 5. So together is 26. 26 is the numerical value of the name of Hashem. 3 times 26 is 78. That's why when you take the bread, which is 78, you put it in the salt, which is 78, 3 times the name of Hashem, you have it in mind, which is 78, it does certain Kabbalistic thing that we needed before we eat. So that's why we dip it 3 times. Now, in Rosh Hashanah, after we dip the bread 3 times in the salt, we also dip it in the honey. Now, according to Kabbalah, some rabbis, they will dip it in sugar, not in honey. The reason they do it with sugar, because they hold that honey, even though the honey is sweet, it still symbolizes judgment. Honey, in Hebrew, dvash. Dvash is the same numerical value as isha, women. That's why you call your wife honey, right? Isha is 306. Dvash is 306. It says the same. Yeah? I have a whole lecture about, I did it in Hebrew, about the connection between honey and women. If you know how honey is built, you can know everything about women. because it's the same numerical value. It has a very big connection. So dvash, which is honey, it's yellow. Yellow, always yellow, red, symbolize judgment. You remember we spoke about colors? So the yellow color goes more to the judgment side. And that's why honey has a power of judgment in it. Also women comes from the judgment world, right? That's why they are more strict than men. They have more borders than men. And that's why on Rosh Hashanah, some Kabbalists, they would not use honey. They say, we want the Rosh Hashanah to be a pure kindness. So even though the honey is sweet, which is very positive, it still has a certain power of judgment. So the Kabbalists don't use honey. Now, I'm not telling you that that's what you should do. I'm just telling you something that they do, that according to Kabbalah they do. So some use sugar. Doesn't matter if you want to use honey and you're used to it. Most of the Jews, they use honey because that's our custom. And it does the job because it's sweet. Now, what's the point of eating sweet on Rosh Hashanah? Why do we dip it 3 times in salt and then we dip it in the honey and we eat it with the honey? The reason is, as I said before, everything goes by the beginning. If the beginning is sweet, the whole year is going to be good and sweet. On Rosh Hashanah, every second, every feeling that we have, it's going to affect a certain time during the year. So if now on Rosh Hashanah, I eat honey and I feel very nice, very good, very happy and tasty, so this is going to cause a certain time of the year to be very happy and positive. Because that's my feeling on Rosh Hashanah. That's why the worst day to be angry is Rosh Hashanah. There's one big rabbi, Sephardic rabbi, 80 years ago. He's the student of the Ben Ish Chai, Rabbi Udaftaya. He was a very big Kabbalist. He was, if you remember from last class, we spoke about souls that get inside people. Yeah, Dibuk. So he was a professional in it. He was taking Dibukim out. He wrote books about that. Very interesting. He was talking to the souls. And one time he said a story about himself that he came home on Rosh Hashanah. And in Baghdad, in Iraq, it was very hot. It's more hot than Israel. And they didn't have air conditioner back then. So it was so hot that they used to eat on the roof. They don't eat at home, they eat on the roof. So they came, he came home after synagogue at night, and he took his jacket out, and by taking his jacket, he didn't pay attention, he was moving the candles. They had a certain candles, right? They didn't have electricity back then. He moved the candle, and the candle, he shut off the candle. So now there's no light in the table. So they're gonna eat with no light. But he says, Baruch Hashem, everything is for good, And then his wife came with the pot, with the food, and going up the stairs. And then she fell on the stairs, and all the food, on her and on the stairs, Rosh Hashanah, So it's okay, Baruch Hashem, fine. And there was a small chicken that was left in the pot. So she brought the chicken, they put it on the table. That's only the thing that they have to eat now. That's the only thing that is left. And then he was doing the kiddush, and a cat came, took the chicken. Now imagine what you gonna feel after all those, And he said, he started to, to feel the angriness coming. And then he says, no, Rosh Hashanah is the most important day of the year. So he took his wife, and she said, now we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance because everything is for good. So they started to sing songs and dance, and Baruch Hashem, he passed the test. Let's call it like this. And he said that this Rosh Hashanah was very hard, but I passed the test. I was happy, and I didn't complain, and I didn't get angry. And he says, this was my best year, spiritually and physically, in all my life. Because when your Rosh Hashanah is hard, and you know how to sweeten it, don't get angry. Pass the test. This is a big sign that you're going to have a beautiful year. And that's why I'm telling you that now. If something happens on Rosh Hashanah, and usually happens, Rosh Hashanah, it's a time of nisyanot, of challenges. We should be ready for Rosh Hashanah. We should know it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to test us on Rosh Hashanah. The Yetzer Hara comes on Rosh Hashanah because he knows, if I'm going to get you today, the whole year is mine. The Yetzer Hara knows that. The whole year is going to be mine. That's what he thinks. And that's what it is. That's why in Rosh Hashanah, we have to have a preparation. That's why we are preparing ourselves to Rosh Hashanah 30 days. The whole month of Elul, it's a whole preparation to Rosh Hashanah. And usually, you know what's happening in the month of Elul? I don't know if you realize that. But the Rabbi Nachman from Breslev says that the month of Elul is full of embarrassments. Check it. The month that you have the most embarrassments in your life, usually, if Hashem loves you, He gives you that on Elul. Why? Embarrassments means that you're not successful, or people put you down, or Chaz v'Shalom your wife, or your husband, or your kids don't listen to you. They make from you a zero. And you feel like, hey, you have an ego and someone is, putting you down. This is usually will happen on Elul. Why? Because the whole concept of Elul is to know how to accept the embarrassments with happiness. Because this is called tshuva. Tshuva means go back to your source, go back to Hashem, being a righteous person. Rabbi Nachman Breslev says, what's a righteous person? Who can I call a tzaddik? You know who? Yikar tshuva yishma bizyano idom ve'ishtok. You're a tzaddik only if you're in a level that people embarrass you, they put you down, and you are silent. You don't say nothing. You just accept it with love, and you understand that this is for Hashem. And you're even not angry at the person that did it to you, because you know everything is from Hashem. That's a very high level, and this is the spiritual work that we have to do on Elul. If you got this on Elul, when you get to Rosh Hashanah, you're going to have the best year. Because the ego, it's the thing that ruins our life. That's ruining our life. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you back to Him, wants you to be righteous, so He has to take the disease out. The disease is ego. How we take the disease out? Embarrassments. Embarrassments takes your ego out. But if you know how to accept it, that's the question, right? By the way, that's one of the reasons we get married. I'm serious. One of the reasons you get married is because when you're married, you get embarrassments. Because your wife comes to you and tells you where you're not okay. What's your problems? And your husband tells you it's your problems. And then how you accept it? You still with your ego? Or you treat her with love? You say thank you. You're silent. You understand that ki bemet, nobody can embarrass you and put you down if Hashem doesn't want it. Even not your wife, even not your husband. Right? So this is just, I touched the work of Elul. This is this time. And I realized that on Elul, those things are happening. Yeah? But the reason is to get to Rosh Hashanah. Now Rosh Hashanah, so we said everything we do on Rosh Hashanah is going to affect the whole year. We eat sweet. We eat honey. Some customs, they eat everything with honey. All the different vegetables and things and the fruits that we eat on Rosh Hashanah, they eat everything with honey because they want everything to be sweet. The pomegranate that we eat should be sweet. If you buy a pomegranate and it's not sweet, it's sour, you should put sugar on it. Because we don't eat sour things in Rosh Hashanah. Because if you eat lemon, let's say, in Rosh Hashanah, and when you eat the lemon, you're gonna have this, feeling of 1 second of, suffering, let's call it like this. This is, chas v'shalom, can affect the year. Rosh Hashanah is very sensitive. That's why one of the customs is not to sleep during the day on Rosh Hashanah. Why we don't sleep? Because sleeping on Rosh Hashanah, if you're going to sleep on Rosh Hashanah during the day, so the Gemara says, so your mazal, your luck is going to sleep during the year. So really the time that we should not sleep on Rosh Hashanah is from the morning to midday, which is approximately here in Canada is 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock till 1 o'clock, we should not sleep. We should be always doing something spiritual at that time. Why? Because this is the time that we are judged. The time that you are judged for the whole year, what's going to happen with you? Your parnasa, if you're going to be wealthy or not. Your health, your kids, your husband, your wife, your relation with other people, your challenges in life, your tests. Everything is set up on Rosh Hashanah. When? In the first, usually, most of the people, most of the Jews, they are judged from the morning, sunrise, to midday. The non-Jews, they judge during the night. They even don't know that. If they would know what's happening to them on the night of Rosh Hashanah, they would stay all night praying. Because all what's happening to every non-Jew in the world, the whole year, is judged and decided by God on the night of Rosh Hashanah. They are judged at night, the Jews are judged during the day. That's why we spend most of our day where? In synagogue, at that time. We hear the Shofar, 101 voices of Shofar. There's a reason why 101. The Zohar talks a lot about that. We're not going to get into it because it's a whole lecture. But hearing the Shofar, the voice of the Shofar gets inside us and cleans our soul. Bring it back to Hashem. This voice is very, very holy. And that's why we have to hear certain voices. Teruah, Shvarim, Tki'ah, tu. There's a whole, I spoke to one of my friends and one of the Kabbalists in Israel that he learns in a place where they study Kabbalah all day. And he said that it took him 4 years, the whole yeshiva, 4 years of learning just to study and to understand what's the deep meaning with all the details of the shofar, all the voices of the shofar. 4 years of learning. All the kavanot, all the intentions. This is really, really, really serious. But we get all this shefa, all this blessing by hearing it. We don't understand what we get. So Rosh Hashanah, we spend this time in Bet HaKnesset, so we should not sleep at that time, because if we sleep, chas v'shalom, our luck will sleep. Same thing, there's a whole question in halacha, in the laws of Judaism, and also in Kabbalah, if someone is allowed to cry on Rosh Hashanah. Because Rosh Hashanah, it's a day of judgment. You are judged. What's going to happen with you the whole year? But from the other side, it's a holy day. It's a happy day. So, day of judgment, usually, let's say a person goes to a court, right? They judge him for something. So he would not feel happy, right? He's very tense. He's very worried. So we should all be worried on Rosh Hashanah. But we see that the Torah tells us no. Rosh Hashanah, it's a happy day. Go eat and enjoy and wear nice clothes, and you have to get a haircut before. And what do you mean? It's a day of judgment. Why we act so happy? So the reason is, the first reason is what I told you, because we have to be happy because we want to have a good year. But the other reason is because we know, even though it's the day of judgment, Hashem loves us. And we know, I trust Hashem as my Father, that I'm going to be okay. This trust, I show this trust by wearing nice clothes, by being happy, by eating, and having fun on Rosh Hashanah. We have to show this trust. So that's why Rosh Hashanah, it's a day of judgment, but it's also a happy day. So now there's a question. Are we allowed to cry on Rosh Hashanah? Why? Because on Shabbat, we're not allowed to cry. It's a happy day, you don't cry on Shabbat. On any other holiday, you don't cry. From the other side, one of the big Kabbalists, Rabbi NewYear, comes and say that if you are crying on Rosh Hashanah, this is a sign that your neshama is in a good direction and a good level. Your soul is in a good place. You're in a good level. You're in the right way. It's a good sign for you. And if you don't cry on Rosh Hashanah, you should know if tears doesn't come out from your eyes on Rosh Hashanah, says Rabbi NewYear, according to Kabbalah, you should know your soul is not at the place that should be. You're not in the right direction. You should do something. So all the rabbis come and say, one second, if this is what happens, so means I need to cry on Rosh Hashanah, but Rosh Hashanah is a holy day. We should not cry. So says Rabbi NewYear, he says, you should not try to cry because you are feeling bad. You cry because of the excitement. It just comes to you. And by the way, he says, the second you cry on Rosh Hashanah, a tear come out of your eyes, this is the second they judge you in Shamayim. So if this happens to you, let's say it can happen when you pray, I don't know, Shmoneh Esrei, it can happen when you are at home and you just think and you hear the shofar, whatever time it happens during the day, you should know that's now the time they judge you and they decide everything about you. If you realize that, at that second, make a good intention and ask from Hashem to give you a good year. Because that's the second. Do tshuva. Regret and accept a new beginning at that second. So this is crying on Rosh Hashanah. Let's go back to all what we eat on Rosh Hashanah. So we said we eat because it's a holiday. We have to be happy, and that's why if you realize we eat only sweet things. Apples with honey, pomegranate should be sweet also. Dates are very sweet. Right? And everything that we eat, we take a certain simanim, it's called. We have the karti, which is the leek. We cook the leek and we eat that. We have the kra, which is the pumpkin. We cook it and we eat that. We have the rubia, the peas, the black-eyed peas. We cook them and we eat them. With the dot, yeah. That's the rubia. Lubia, some call it. Right? Now, a few years ago, I asked myself, why those things? Like, why can't I take a watermelon, and say Yehi Ratzon in the watermelon? That should be a good year and eat a watermelon. Why those certain fruits and vegetables? So we have to know that everything that is written in Judaism, in Torah, everything is very, 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 like, it's not just a random thing. It has a deep reason why. All those vegetables and fruits has a certain power that we need on Rosh Hashanah. Every growing, a tree, a flower, a fruit, a vegetable, has a certain power, an angel, that is in charge of it. The Gemara says, Kol esev ve'esev yesh lo malach shemakeh alav ve'omer lo gdal. Every vegetable has every plant has a certain angel that is in charge of it, and this is the energy of that plant. There's different types of them. By the way, this is the secret of healing according to Torah and Kabbalah. Why there's certain vegetables that are good for the stomach, certain vegetables that you eat for the heart. Yeah. By the way, it's also the Torah says that you can see it in the shape of the vegetable. For example, the carrot is very good for the eyes, and the carrot looks like an eye. If you look inside, it looks like an eye, right? There's other things you can see that, for example, the strawberries. Yeah, strawberries are good for the heart, and they look like heart. Like everything, Hashem even put inside that the shape. because it's good for a certain thing. By the way, when you want to eat a certain fruit, yeah, sometimes I want strawberries. Why it happens? Your body, your soul knows what it needs. It's so smart, everything in us. When, for example, we don't have iron, we want to eat avocado because it has a lot of iron. We go to it. Yeah, we want to eat beets because that's a lot of iron. Huh?
Cravings.
What?
Cravings, like...
Yeah. So our body feels. So same thing, every vegetable and every plant has a certain angel, a certain power. And this power, when we eat it, it can heal a certain thing. It's good for a certain thing because that's the energy affects us. That's why there was a book called Sefer Refuah, the Book of Healing. This book was written by King Solomon, Shlomo HaMelech. And we don't have this book anymore. And because Chizkiyahu HaMelech took all the copies of this book and buried them. Why? Because this book has every plant and every vegetable and fruit in the world, and all the combinations of the herbs and everything that you do for healing every disease in the world. So people started to use it for every problem. And Chizkiyahu HaMelech decided that it's not good because people forget about God. God gives the power to all those herbs. He gives the energy. And they just forget about God. They say, oh, I have a problem. They don't take the eye up and say, Hashem, please help me. They go to the book and they take the herbs. That's why he said this book in our generation, we don't need it anymore. So already 2,000 years ago, he buried that. Buried everything. So today in Kabbalah, in Torah, we have a lot of those secrets still that we have, but we don't have the whole book. But we should know that every plant, every vegetable and fruit has a certain energy, has a certain angel that is in charge of it. Now, when I eat this fruit, I'm waking up the power of that angel. And I'm taking the energy to myself. I'm bringing that energy to myself by eating it. Even not just by eating, just by taking it with my hand and pointing it, I'm already waking up this power. Now, there's certain vegetables and fruits that has a very, very positive effect on our life. And our rabbis picked those fruits for the Seder order of Rosh Hashanah. They took the fruits that has the best positive energy that we need for the year, for our growth. And they picked them and they gave us all the Seder. They made the whole Seder of Rosh Hashanah. So that's how we take one fruit, we eat it, we bring that energy to ourselves. We wake up the power of this angel to have a good year. The other one, for example, dates. Dates, one of the most powerful fruits in the world. One of the rabbis in our generation, he lived 104 years. And they asked him when he was 103, Rabbi, how come you're so healthy, you're so strong, and you live so much? What's your secret? He says, every morning on an empty stomach, I eat 4 dates. Why? Because the Gemara, Talmud, Masechet Ketubot says a lot of good things about dates. Dates, they take out worries. We spoke about that once. When you eat a lot of dates, it takes out all the worries and about life. Depression. If someone is in depression, you should tell him eat every day on an empty stomach. Eat dates first thing in the morning. This really works. It takes all the negative energy from your heart, all the pain that we have, takes it out. This is the angel, the energy of that fruit. Also, dates, they are very good for not getting angry. Sadness. People that get angry, dates will calm you down. The Gemara says it's good for other physical disease. I don't want to get to details right now. Yeah, tchorim. I don't know how to say it in English, but
Hemorrhoids.
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 Hemorrhage.
H-E-M-O.
Hemorrhoids, yeah.
Hemorrhage.
Okay. Okay, so you understood me. So this one, if a person has this problem, he should eat dates. This is really gonna help him, right? A pregnant lady, very good to eat dates. Gives a lot of energy, and it's very good for the baby. Yeah, in general, there's the Gemara talks about every fruit and vegetable, how it even affects the baby in the. Yeah, for example, when a lady eats fruits that has a very good smell, the baby will have a good smell. Yeah, for example, lemon is very good for the baby, and it's gonna make him smell good. And if you wanna have not skinny, a little bit more fat baby, you should eat a lot of coriander. The Gemara says, coriander makes the baby more fat. That's what the Gemara says. Every fruit has a certain thing, you know. So dates are very, very good, and that's the reason we start the Seder of Rosh Hashanah with dates. This is one of the most powerful fruits. One of the 7 Shivat Aminim, the 7 fruits of the land of Israel. One of them is dates, right? So we should take, now everything we do in Rosh Hashanah, we should do it with the right hand. Everything. So when we take the date, we should hold it with the right hand. Everything we do it with the right hand has more effect on us. Even when we bless every food that we eat, not in Rosh Hashanah, and every day, we should hold it with our right hand. Yamin Adonai Romema, Yamin Adonai Osachayil. The right gives more energy, more power, more positivity. When you wake up in the morning, right, the first leg you put on the floor should be your right leg. Everything should start with the right. Yeah, when we do Netilat Yadayim, we start with the right. Everything we start with the right. Even when we put the shoes, we start with the right. We put the shirt, we start with the right. It has a lot of secrets. Why? Yeah, because the right has to be always first. This is a sign of a strong beginning. So we take the fruits with the right hand and we say the blessing. Now, according to halacha, you don't have to eat it. Some people says, I don't like pomegranate, I don't like dates, I don't like whatever. You don't have to eat it. Just by holding it and saying the blessing of the Hi Ratzon, this is already does waking up that power, that energy, and brings it to you to have a better year. So that's why we do this custom. This is the deep understanding of why we're doing those things. Yeah, a person from outside that will look at us on Rosh Hashanah would say those guys are crazy. They take leek, they say something, and they eat it. They take, why those vegetables, why those fruits? So as I told you right now, has a certain meaning. Every fruit has a certain power, and we're waking up that power. By the way, same thing happens on Sukkot. On Sukkot, we take 4 minim: hadas, arava, etrog, lulav. Those 4 things that we take, and we shake them. Why can't we take a banana and a mango and do like this? Why we do those stuff? The same concept is here. Those 4 type of growings, they are they have a certain energy that brings chesed, kindness, to our heart. On Rosh Hashanah, we built our brain. On Sukkot, we built our heart. That's why when we take those 4 minim, what we do, we take it here, to the heart. That's the right thing to do, not like this. We have to take it to the heart. Why? Because all our emotional life is depend on Sukkot. On Sukkot, you build your emotions. That's why those 4 minim, yeah, they heal your heart. They're waking up those powers that you need to have a whole heart, a good heart. Understand others, and that's why Sukkot is a very important holiday for relations, because relation, it's whole emotions, right? Relationships, it's all emotions. So that's why we have to bring those chasadim. We take them from up here to our heart. We take those energies to build our emotion system. So, but that's on Sukkot, B'ezrat Hashem, maybe we'll speak about that. But Rosh Hashanah, we build the brain, and that's why we eat those things. Very important to do it, to not skip it. We do it 2 nights, right? Rosh Hashanah. Now, what's the reason we have 2 nights on Rosh Hashanah? So there is a judgment to the body and to the soul. The soul and the body get judged, right? So that's why 1 day is for the body, your physical needs, and 1 day is for the soul, your spiritual needs. That's why both of them are important. Yeah, the first day, which is the physical needs, and the second day, which is the spiritual needs, we really, really need to do the maximum on Rosh Hashanah. That's why people that work on Rosh Hashanah, not a good idea. It's not allowed according to halacha, but it's also not a good idea because you, instead of taking the blessing of that day, sitting in a holy place, get a good power of kindness, positivity to the whole life, to the whole year, you're doing like things that are very low, working and stuff like that. Yeah, by one of the most important things to do on Rosh Hashanah, to bring shefa, to bring energy to ourselves, and to guarantee a good year, is tzedakah. Even though we're not allowed to touch money on Rosh Hashanah because it's a holiday, it's like Shabbat. But tzedakah, we don't have to do just with touching money. We can do it with our mouth. Yeah, you buy a certain thing in Bet HaKnesset, in synagogue. Yeah, you wanna buy an Aliyah Torah, or you give before Rosh Hashanah donation to needy people or to a certain organization that does Torah classes, supporting the synagogue. Those things to do on Rosh Hashanah are very good. Why? Because when you give, you get back from Hashem. The Gemara says, "Le'olam en adam ani min tzedakah." Never ever a person can be poor from giving donations. Why? Because donation work in a way that when you give, you get more. Always. Kadosh Baruch Hu made it like this. By the way, even according to Kabbalah, I hope you will understand me, the word tzedakah, yeah? Just a quick story before that happened this week. My mother told me, I have to tell you. My mother, she's doing like eyebrows and stuff like that, makeup. So she told me once that one of her clients came to her, a non-Jew, she's Armenian. She came last week to her, and she was like, very stressed. And she knows my mom is Jewish and she's keeping Torah and everything, and my mom always talk about that with the clients. So she says, I have to ask you something. I had a dream about my grandmother. And she tells me that she's Jewish in the dream. The grandmother comes to her and tells her that she's Jewish. And then she says, she asked me to do something for her. But she said it in Hebrew, and I don't understand Hebrew, so maybe you can tell me what's that. So my mother says, yes, what's that? So she said, tzedakah. I was shocked. Now she found out, she was doing research, that her grandmother was Jewish. So she's Jewish. I still didn't, it's very hard to, it's mamash, you see how tzedakah is important, not just here, it's important there, So when you give a donation, when you give tzedakah, which is basically this is the goal of life, to be a giver. That's why this one is one of the most important mitzvot in the Torah, because that's the concept of being a giver, being like God. Hashem is giving all the time. We have to be givers, not to only take to ourselves and to enjoy whatever we have. We have to give it. Yeah, that's the purpose of life, not to take, to give. So tzedakah, there's a whole system in Kabbalah called atbash. Atbash means, I think maybe I spoke about that once. Atbash means certain letters in Torah. You can read Torah in different ways and systems. One of the systems called Atbash. Aleph, Taf, Bet, Shin. Aleph is the first letter in the alphabet. Taf is the last letter. So every place you see Aleph, you switch it to Taf. Every place you see Bet, you switch it to Shin. Bet is the second letter, Shin is the one before the last. Atbash, Gal, Dak. Every place you see Gimel, you switch it to Reish, right? So this is the system. You flip the letters and you can read Torah in a different way, in a more deep understanding. That's one of the things that Kabbalists do. They take the Torah as it's written and they change the letter by those systems, and they find a lot of secrets. So in this system of Atbash, if you take the word tzedakah, right? So tzadik is going to be hey, right? Which is hey is the last letter of tzedakah. Dalid, it's going to be kuf, which is one before the last letter of tzedakah. The kuf is going to be dalid, and hey is again tzaddik. So tzedakah is the only word that when you make it in the system of atbash, it turns to tzedakah again. Yeah, if I would have a board, I would show it to you. But if you take tzedakah in atbash, you flip the words, it's going to be tzedakah again. And why is that? To show you when you give tzedakah, you get back tzedakah. You get the money back. And more. So that's why one of the things that we should do before Rosh Hashanah to guarantee a good year is donation, is tzedakah. We can do it in Rosh Hashanah itself by saying, we can do it before Rosh Hashanah. One of the important things to do in Rosh Hashanah, if you want to have a good parnasah, yeah, you want to have a blessing in money. Money, it's not just the quantity of money. Money is more of the quality of money. There's a concept called money with blessing. Yeah, you can be a billionaire, but you're not blessed. The money goes to bad places, to things that you suffer from. Yeah, you put money on your kids, and then your kids, they don't give you back nachat, happiness, right? You put money on your car, and you don't really enjoy it the right way. So this is money without a blessing. We don't want a money without blessing. We want money with blessing. So how do we get a parnasah on Rosh Hashanah? One of the things that can cause us to get parnasah on Rosh Hashanah is doing, as I said, donation on Rosh Hashanah. Now there is another thing that is very interesting. It's a zgula. Zgula, it's a spiritual way to get something. If you want to get good parnasah, one of the big admurim, the Hasidim, says you should buy a knife on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Erev Rosh Hashanah means Sunday. Before Rosh Hashanah, the day of Rosh Hashanah, let's say now it's Sunday night is Rosh Hashanah, so on Sunday, before Rosh Hashanah comes in, go buy a new knife. Buy a new knife, put it in the mikveh, and then sharpen it. Sharpen it at home. And then use it on Rosh Hashanah. Or even if you don't use it, just put it in your house. But this is a knife that you bought with intention to have a good parnasah. How you say parnasah in English? Huh? Good income, yeah. Good incomes. Wealth. And this works. Now when I heard it a few years ago, when I read it, it didn't make sense to me. Okay, so I'll go on Sunday and I'll buy a knife and then I'll sharpen it before Rosh Hashanah, and this is going to give me a blessing of wealth. What's the relation between wealth, income, and a knife? I didn't understand that. And then only a few years after, I read it in another book and it makes sense, and they explain there why. So one of the reasons why the knife that you buy on Rosh Hashanah has a certain connection to your income is because there's a holy name of Hashem. There's a holy name of Hashem that's called Chatach. Now, in general, maybe we'll speak about it once, but there's 72 names to God. Those 72 names are coming from 3 sentences in the Torah, in Parashat Beshalach, when Am Yisrael came out of Egypt, when they were in the sea. Parashat Beshalach, that's Parasha. There's 3 sentences, one after the other, that each sentence has exactly 72 letters. It starts with the word Vayavo, Vayisa, Vayet. Which is very interesting because in the whole Torah there's no such a thing of 3 sentences, one after the other, with exactly 72 letters each. Now, the Zohar teaches that if you take the first letter of the first sentence and the last letter of the second sentence and the first letter of the third sentence, you come up with one name of God. And if you take the second letter of the first sentence and the one before the last letter of the second sentence and the second letter of the third sentence, you come with another name. And like that, you do 72 names of God. Now, every name is in charge of something in this world. For example, we have to, Bezat Hashem, in our classes, we're going to speak a lot about those names. So that's a good introduction. For example, every name has a certain power that brings in. For example, there's an evil eye power, right? If you want to have a certain name that against evil eye. So it's the name called Hey Aleph Aleph. Yeah? When someone does an evil eye to you, you feel very, you can just have a brief meditation and have in mind, Hey Aleph Aleph. Right away it's going to block the evil eye. Right away. Why? This name is God's name that's in charge of evil eye. There's 3 names in the whole 72 names of God that they are in charge of income, parnasa, wealth. What are the names? That's not a shiur for parnasa, but because it's Rosh Hashanah and we need parnasa, I'm gonna go a little bit over with you on those names, because we can bring a lot of shefa of income to ourselves. People that are businessmen, if they hear that now and they use it the proper way, they can do a lot of money. So the 3 names of God that are in charge of money, it's coming actually from a pasuk that we say every day in prayer. Yeah, it's a very famous pasuk, very famous sentence. We say in Asher Shvevetecha, Poteach et yadecha umazbiya lechol chayratzon. Right? If you go to a Sephardic shul, you're gonna see everybody like with their hands like this. Like if you ask them what you doing, why you put your hands like this? So they will tell you now you get the money, now you get the parnasa. I once was in Tel Aviv, in one of the synagogues there, and I had a friend that I saw him doing this, and he did it like that. Poteach et yadecha. So I told him, why you do this? Do like this, and I get more money. Like why a little bit? He says, no, Rabbi, you don't understand. When you do like this, all the money goes to the floor. You don't get. When you do this, you keep it. So people, they do it. They don't really understand what's happening. Why are we opening our head? There's a whole reason, yeah? Now, without getting into the reason, when we do Poteach et yadecha, yeah, opening your hands, so Poteach et yadecha, if you pay attention, the first letter of every word, Poteach et yadecha, Pei et Aleph, yadecha, Yud. Pei Aleph Yud, Pai. Pei Aleph Yud, that's the first name of Parnasa. Okay? Now, the same word, the same sentence, Poteach et yadecha, if you look at the last letter of every word, it's going to be Poteach, Chet, Et, Taf, yadecha, Chaf, Chatach. Chatach in Hebrew means to cut. And why is it to cut? Because when Hashem gives parnasa, gives income, wealth, He's cutting a certain portion of energy, of parnasa, and giving it to you according to what you deserve. That's why it's called cutting. Chet Tav Chaf, that's the name of the 72 letters, the second name, I think the most powerful name of parnasa. And the third one is the same Chatach. If you flip the letters in Atbash, you remember we spoke now about Atbash? Aleph, Taf, Bet, Shin. If you take Chet in Atbash, it's going to be Samech. Taf is going to be Aleph. And Chaf is going to be Lamed. So Samech, Aleph, Lamed. It's the Atbash of Chet, Taf, Chaf. I know it's a little bit deep. Yeah? Samech, Aleph, Lamed. So those are the 3 names of Hashem that are in charge of income. Now, how can I use it? When you're in the synagogue and you do Poteach et yadecha, what you should do is to have in mind Pei Aleph Yud. When you think Pei Aleph Yud, you're just bringing to yourself the energy of Parnasa. That's why a businessman, when you go to let's say you have an interview, or no, not an interview, you have a business something, and you want to get a good deal, so you can, when you talk to the other guy, you can have in mind, Pei Aleph Yud. Sometimes I even tell them, you draw on his forehead of the client. I have someone, he does it for every client. Every client that comes, he draws on the forehead, Pei Aleph Yud, Chet Tav Chaf, and they buy. That's what he does. He used the names of Hashem everywhere. So meditations on those names will give you parnasa, will open all the pipes of parnasa to you. So all this introduction is to understand the knife. The knife is cutting. Chatach is the name of cut. Cut. Chatach. That's why a knife has a connection to Parnasa, because the name of Parnasa, the main name of Parnasa is cutting. And the thing that cuts is a knife. That's why when you buy a new knife on Rosh Hashanah and you have in mind when you buy it, Chet, Taf, Chav, the name of Parnasa, Hashem, because of that, give me good Parnasa. This is a Sgula to have a good income in this year. So that's the secret of the knife. By the way, knives, we can use it for different things. For example, people that have bad dreams, that's guaranteed. People that have bad dreams or nightmares or they can't fall asleep, take a knife, put under your mattress, you will see things are going to change. Under your mattress. Yeah, because of a different reason. Because of a different reason. But, by the way, for babies, sometimes babies, they cry without a reason. I'm not talking about when they are very small and they have all the, the stomach hurts and everything. After, when they grow and they still cry at nights, a lot of time is because there's a lot of negative spiritual things there. And they feel it. So, and they get scared. When you put knife, those things going away. Knife, it's a thing that takes away, like salt, takes away the bad powers. That's why knife should be sharp. It's very important. One of the sgulot, the ways to get shalom bayit. You want to have shalom bayit? Peace at home. The Ben Ish Chai say every Friday or Thursday, it's better if the husband does, but if the husband doesn't do it, the wife should do it. Take the knives at home and sharp them, all of them. Those that you use. Two reasons, it's going to give you shalom bayit, peace at home. One reason, it's a simple reason, because when you prepare food, your wife prepares food for Shabbat, and if the knife is not working, so she gets angry. And then you come home and there's no shalom bayit. So make sure the knives are sharp. But the more deep reason, every place that there's a knife that is not sharp, the sitra achra, the negative powers come there. Two things you should know. Kurei kavish is the spider webs, brings a lot of stress and no peace at home. You have to remove all of them before Shabbat. And when the knives are not sharp, brings a lot of stress and tense and no peace at home. So those two things are very important to do according to Kabbalah. So you see that the knife even has a connection to peace at home. That's the Ben Ish Chai, Rabbi Yosef Chaim says. So that's a sgula for Parnasa. As we said, buy a knife on Sunday for your income. Now I want to tell you another small secret about Rosh Hashanah. There's one of the preparations, the most important things to do on the day of Rosh Hashanah is to accept or to hold one mitzvah that we do, but do it the best we can. Because Rosh Hashanah is the day of judgment, what's happening is that we have a lot of bad things we do and good things that we do. And all the bad things that we do create bad angels, bad energies. And the good things that we do create a positive energy, good angels. What's happening when you are judged, so you have the positive and the negative. A lot of time your negative is more than the positive. And this can cause you a not simple year, a very challenged year. So one of the things we should do is to take one mitzvah, one good things that we do, but to do it the best we can. I'll tell you why. Because it's like, when you have a chevel, when you have a rope. So you have a lot of small strings, right, inside the rope. So the rope with the strings, it symbolizes your mitzvot, your good things, and the bad things that you do, your actions. Even if you cut some of them, right? Let's say some of them are not good. If there's still one that is very strong, it's going to hold the whole robe. Same thing is in mitzvot. When we have one thing that we do, and each one of us is connected to a certain thing. Some people, they're connected to a mitzvah of guests. They like guests all the time, and they treat them the best they can. Some people like tefillin, tzitzit, Shabbat candles, Shabbat, keeping Shabbat, challah. Each lady and a man, we have a certain thing that we are connected to. We like this. Respecting our parents, giving, I said hospitality. Also, let's say, hospitality, yeah? Bikur cholim. No, achnasat orchim, it's hospitality. Bikur cholim, it's, go to visit sick people. So each one of us has a certain mitzvah that we are connected to. Take this mitzvah and do it the best you can. With intention, with focus, with love, with everything. When you do this mitzvah creates a perfect angel. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak from Braditchev says that one perfect angel can destroy 1,000 imperfect angels. 1,000 bad angels. And why is that? I'll tell you why. When a person makes a sin, let's say someone eats not kosher, or someone unrespect his wife, or the opposite. It's a sin. Now, when you do a sin, are you doing preparations for the sin? You know, mitzvot, when we do a mitzvah, there's something called preparation to the mitzvah. Right? I have intention. Now I'm coming to do a mitzvah. You know, if you realize in Torah we have L'Shem Yichud. L'Shem Yichud, it's a paragraph that we say before we make a mitzvah. It's called the intention of the mitzvah. We are getting ready to the mitzvah. We do it with full focus and want and will. When you make a sin, you don't prepare yourself for the sin. You just do it. You don't want to do it, but you do it. You just fell. So every sin we do, it's not really perfect sin. It creates an angel that is unperfect, bad angel. But if we have one perfect mitzvah, means with intention, with preparation, with love, with happiness, I do it for the sake of Hashem. This one best mitzvah can overcome 1,000 imperfect, bad angels' sins. That's why one of the most important things that we need to have in Rosh Hashanah is to take upon ourselves one thing that we do the best. One thing in life. This will guarantee a good year. On top of all what we said, that we should be happy, not angry on Rosh Hashanah, eat sweet things, ask for forgiveness. A lot of people, they wait for Yom Kippur. That's wrong. Rosh Hashanah is the day of judgment. Yom Kippur, it's like, okay, you have an opportunity to change what was written on Rosh Hashanah. Why do you need to change? Do before it's written. Come to your friend and say, okay, Achi, I love you. Whatever happened with us, it's all past. Let's start a new beginning. It's a Rosh Hashanah. I'm sorry. I am sorry. And the first person we should go to, you know who is it? No. Your wife or your husband and your parents. Because they suffered from you the most. That's the truth. Your friend, you see him once a week. Okay, you said something to him. He doesn't forgive you. Okay. But your wife, your husband, every day. You not talk the right way, you do this, you didn't. That's the first one. Most of our judgments comes from our suppose. Or parents. That's why you go to your parents, you take, it's a big secret. Take your mother's and father's hand and kiss it. It's gonna sweeten all the judgments out of you. The Kabbalists, they do it every Shabbat. Every Shabbat, before Kiddush, you take your mom's hand and you kiss her hand. and it's sweetening all your judgments. And after that, when your father bless you, you kiss his hand. Before the blessing, not after. Because I told you, in the hand, there's 5 types of judgment. All the powers is in the hand, so judgment is in the hand. When you kiss the hand, so you're sweetening the judgment, and then your father bless you with the hand, that brings you a good power. Good blessing. So, same thing, before Rosh Hashanah, you go to your parents, you say, I'm sorry to what I did to you. I know you suffered because of me. Even if you were the best kid, there's no such a thing, the best kid. Respecting parents, that's the hardest mitzvah in the Torah. That's what it's written in the Talmud. Hardest mitzvah in the Torah. Because even if you did something at home, let's say, someone asked me, like, Rabbi, can I smoke weed? I like this question. Today in Canada, it's very popular now. Huh? It's allowed. Wow, what do you mean? It's legal. So I told him, you know what? Let's not get into the weed thing. You can't smoke weed because your parents are going to suffer because of you smoking weed. If you tell your father, Abba, I smoke weed, what is he going to say? Oh yeah, really? Let's do it together. That's what he's going to tell you? No. He's going to tell you, what do you need it for?
What if he does?
Huh?
What if he does?
So let's talk about it. If you have a father like that, we have to talk. Okay? There's other things. But maybe it is. I don't know. We have to talk. But this thing, most of normal parents in the world, if they know you smoke, not just weed, also cigarettes, they don't feel good. They can sit at home and like, I'm worried about my son. Now you caused them suffering. You have to ask for forgiveness before Rosh Hashanah. That's why respecting parents is very hard. Abaye, one of the Amoraim, he once said he didn't have parents. His mother passed away in the labor, and his father passed away before. And he said, Baruch Hashem, I don't have parents. I didn't understand. How can you say such a thing? So he meant, Baruch Hashem, that I don't have that challenge because that's the hardest mitzvah in the world. So we have to ask for forgiveness from our parents, from the spouse, from our friends. Get clean into Rosh Hashanah. If you own something and you have the money, make sure you give the money before Rosh Hashanah. Because the more clean you get into Rosh Hashanah, your judgment is going to be better. They're going to write you in good books. You're going to have a better year. That's why, as I said before, we spoke about mezuzah last week. We check mezuzot because we want to be spiritually clean. Get clean. Check the tefillin sometimes before Rosh Hashanah. We want to be clean. We always make peace with everybody we can before Rosh Hashanah because we want to have a good judgment. So, of course, there's a lot of things to speak about, but it's already very late. If we're going to summarize all we talked today, Rosh Hashanah is the most important day in the year. We should make sure that Rosh Hashanah, we spend it with the people we love. So we're going to make sure that we are very happy on Rosh Hashanah. There's going to be challenges because the Yetzer Hara comes on Rosh Hashanah. We have to remember the words that we said today, to hold ourselves, and if we're going to pass the challenge with happiness and love, we're going to have a perfect year. We have to remember that the day that we are judged for parnasah, for income, is in Rosh Hashanah. Make sure you are in synagogue on Rosh Hashanah. On Poteach et Yadecha, have in mind, pay Aleph Yud, bring the blessing of income. Chet Tav Chaf, Chatach, bring the blessing of income. By the way, Chatach also, on Yom Kippur, we do kaparot. Why we say in kaparot? Ze Chalifatcha, Temuratcha, Kaparatcha. Look at the words. Chalifatcha starts with Chet. Temuratcha starts with Taf. Kaparatcha starts with Chaf. Chatach. The same name of Parnasah we do in Kaparot. Why? Because we bring the energy of Parnasah right now on Yom Kippur also. But this is maybe we'll speak on Yom Kippur. So income is coming on Rosh Hashanah. We make sure we have those names in mind. We ask for parnasa on Rosh Hashanah. We make peace before Rosh Hashanah. We take ourselves. We take one mitzvah that we can hold and do it the best we can with intention. Something that you are connected to, hold it as much as you can. This one is going to be your angel in the day of judgment that's going to, Bezat Hashem, flip over all and give you a good life, successful life. I want to bless you all, also the people that watch us. Shana Tova Mevorechet. Hashem will give you a lot of blessing, a lot of bracha, a lot of simcha, happiness. You should see always nachat from your kids and from your spouse and from your parents and from everyone. And Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will write all of us in the books of life, in the books of good parnasa, in the books of Be'ezrat Hashem unity, and in the books of Geulah. Be'ezrat Hashem, we all should together make the next lesson Be'ezrat Hashem in Yerushalayim, in Bet HaMikdash. We're gonna all sit and make a Zohar shiur. Amen v'amen. If you have any questions,